good morning and welcome. We're live. This is an actual live conversation that we're having at Buddy Brew Coffee. I've got a great table of folks that are going to be talking about a lot of cool things. I did read this morning in the Tampa Bay Business Journal that Cigar City Beer, another local employer that I fully support, was ranked as one of the best breweries in the world, which I think is fantastic.
Right, outstanding.
But we're starting the morning not with beer, with coffee. So we got some Buddy Brew Coffee, and we're going to be talking tech. Now, there are a lot of elements of what we're doing here, which will give up people who are watching this the opportunity to link in. If you go to my Twitter page, Mark Sharpe FL, you'll find the link so that you can watch us live. You can then also be able to ask us questions. I've got a USF student here, Giovanna, that's running around here somewhere who's going to be kind of helping us with questions from people who are watching us. But what I wanted to do, because we got a really important issue coming up on Wednesday, and that's going to be something that everyone around this table has been working diligently over the last year to produce, which is an effort by our economic development department, and we've got Lindsay here. Lindsay, you want to say hello?
Hello, everyone.
Lindsay Kimball is working with the economic development department, and her and Ron Barton have been kind of sitting down and collaborating with some of the people around this table on how we can do a much better job of supporting our startup community. We want to make Tampa Bay one of the best communities in the nation for startups. And so Lindsay and Joy and others, Joel, Ken, have been putting together what we're going to be bringing to the board on the 20th of February. And so Joy, what I'd like for you to do is kind of explain what it is we're trying to do, how we can help the startup community. Tell us a little bit about yourself, but also kind of talk about this effort, this initiative, and why it's so important.
Yeah, so I think.
Why don't you introduce yourself so people know who you are?
So I'm Joy Randall. I'm the CEO of New Market Partners, which is a company here that helps startups. And I actually also am a partner in. I'm also a partner in 3 other.
We going good? There we go.
Better? Back in? Okay. I'm also a partner in 3 other tech startups and sit on the board of several others. So I learned recently that there's a term for me called a parallel entrepreneur because I've got multiple businesses going at once versus serial, which is kind of what I thought I was before. But the reality is I think that we have a tremendous opportunity here. We have a lot of tech companies and a lot of people in technology that really just are under the surface. People just aren't really aware. And we see that as a grassroots effort and some of the things that we've done. For instance, we've actually, over the last 2 years, out of the grassroots community, which includes things like Bar Camp and Startup Weekend and things like that, we've actually had 33 companies formed that are still in business today, which is huge. I think there's a lot of stats like that that just really aren't known. So what the objective is here is, the county, people like Lindsay and Mark and Ron Barton have really said, hey, how do we help develop those high-wage jobs? How do we keep those people here? What do we do? And they're really trying to make a concerted effort to put some programs together and support the programs that are in the area that facilitate this. So I think that, what the EDC here has drafted is awesome. And a huge step in something that really has kind of gone unnoticed for the last 3 or 4 years.
Well, okay, but tell me, why is it different from what we're doing now, and how is it going to make a difference to an entrepreneur that's sitting out there going, all right, I want to get started, I need some help, I just don't quite know what I need?
Well, I think that the activities that go on today are not very visible, right? The problem, right, with all these things is an undercurrent. So putting some dollars behind that to help promote those, engage those people, having the county be the glue. So if they go to the EDC, where today they would basically not find anything, honestly, for technology entrepreneurs. We focus here on things like real estate and services businesses and those type of things, which I'm not saying we want those to go away, but we also need to focus on other things that are actually going to build a sustainable economy, one that isn't solely dependent on things that cycle, right? This will give them an opportunity to know where to go, to be able to put those things out in the public eye, and to understand what resources are available. You know, if I'm going to pick an accelerator, God, who are they? Are there any that are out there? Where should I go?
Okay, all right. A budding entrepreneur who doesn't know or care anything about government could care. In fact, what I've discovered is I've gone out and talked with the students at USF. I've talked with Joel Lopez. I love Joel, and he's got this bar camp event at USF, which is amazing. Him and Ken Evans have done with Startup Monkey have done an amazing job of bringing people together. But what I've discovered is it's not that they don't like government. It's like sometimes you're just getting in my way. You're not helping me. So now you're this 25, 26, 27-year-old who you've got great ideas, but you really don't even know how to start. What is it that how are we even going to reach you? How are we going to help you if you don't even know where we are?
Well, I think by supporting those grassroots efforts right now, the county.
So you go to the events.
Yeah, absolutely, and the county's putting money behind that, right? And these events now provide a public view, right, for county officials, for people like Lindsay, like yourself, right, to get out there. I mean, you were at the last bar camp event, and people responded to that.
Okay, and what I saw at bar camp was lots of smart people, hundreds and hundreds of really smart people, and what I've always heard is, Joel, Tampa doesn't have smart people.
Oh, Tampa has smart people. I mean, we were fortunate enough to have Gartner keynoters, people who are paid $250,000 come and do presentations. We have lots of smart people who basically get on airplanes a lot because they can't find what they're looking for here. We have a lot of smart people who work virtually for companies out of Texas or California because they can't find what they're looking for here. We have lots of smart people who'd like to co-found a startup here, but they don't find, other than Bar Camp or Startup Weekend or a few other places, they're not finding the places to go meet someone like them that shares their passion about solving this problem, whatever this problem is. And one of the things that made Silicon Valley is of all things but beer, because they drank on Fridays and they jumped from place to place. And so and together 3 guys would get together, 4 guys would get together, and they'd say, this is wrong, and you know what? The 3 of us, we could fix that. And they decided to do that a lot. But that requires people meeting each other, then developing a relationship, then developing a trust, and believing that those other, when you form a company, that's like a marriage. So you really have to believe that these people are people you can be in for the long haul, and you have that level of trust. That requires grassroots, that requires relationships to be formed, that requires people getting together, and that's what we've been working towards. But there are absolutely hundreds, if not thousands upon thousands of really, really smart people. We're just giving them a home, and what the county's looking to do is support that, give and make more homes for them.
Ken,
it's really about entrepreneurial fitness. I think there are a lot of smart people.
Entrepreneurial what?
Fitness. And the example that I will use is if you look at areas like the Gasparilla Marathon and some of the races that are started. Now we've got Tough Mudda, and you've got a number of different spin-offs of Tough Mudda. When those come to a town, long term, what you get is programs that wrap themselves around that. So now you've got prep programs, online fitness, and people that do meetups every single week to get ready for the next Tough Mudda, to get ready for the next Gasparilla Marathon. It's about fitness and the community's ability to do exactly what Joel just said. You've got 3 or 4 people around a table looking at an idea. They go, I can fix that. Or, with a tech problem or a product problem or really any problem, it's how about the community looking at a problem going, I can fix that. And that's where great products come out of, those type of discussions. When I lived in Seattle, when I lived in Texas, so you had the type of people that would look at that and go, I can help you with those type of things. Whether or not they were forming an actual product or building a company right then and there, they were willing to help each other on those problems, and they were capable of doing that. They had the mindset of, let's go fix that problem. So whether or not you're doing enterprise software or a medical device or the next social media app, it really doesn't matter. If you get people engaged around a problem, a product may spin off out of that discussion. Sometimes those discussions happen here at Buddy Brew or at Cigar City. Sometimes they happen inside big corporations, and people are working for companies that don't have the ability to spin off those technologies, but you've got smart people in those companies or in those traditional industry groups like the IEEE or the ACM that are working on these problems. If the community has the right level of fitness to go fix that problem and create a product out of it, you have a startup-friendly community. And we're getting there, but it's a long road. It's a 10 or 15 or 20-year investment in building that level of confidence that people will say, not only do I see this problem, I can fix it, and I'm willing to do that.
I mean, you're absolutely right. So if you think about companies like, if you look at companies like Craigslist, right? So Craigslist was founded because somebody wanted to figure out a way to buy and sell stuff. Okay? If you look at Facebook, right? Facebook came because Mark Zuckerberg wanted to know if some girls were actually together. Right?
Problem, solution.
Right. So it's like, I have this thing, how do I fix it, right? And Steve Jobs said, I want to be the greatest, computer suck, I want to go do something different, right? Mm-hmm. So that's how those things happen, and it was all about figuring out how to solve a problem. And I think here, Mark, to your point, it's about mindset, right? So if we can change the mindset of people in the community, when you said, everybody's like, why not go somewhere else? Why would I do it here? I don't know about the government. I don't understand all these things. It's changing that mindset, and by putting more things in the public eye, right, there's more things there. People see it, then people gravitate towards it. Communities like Sunnyvale, right, which is where Silicon Valley is, things like places like Austin, and even now like places like Oklahoma City and Ogden, Utah, they didn't happen overnight. They happened by those kind of things. And entrepreneurs, when they figure out, hey, where do other people like me hang out, they go there. And that's what they do. And that's how companies get formed.
All right, well, let me ask a question. And I'm going to kind of 35,000-foot level. The board had a meeting yesterday talking about our budget. And the conversation was about, because people want, they want parks, they want fire stations, they want to see us spend more money on roads. Well, that depends upon ad valorem, it depends upon sales tax, which really depends upon people living here and people with disposable income spending money. So and we looked at foreclosures and some of the challenges we have with home ownership and such. But what drives all that is a healthy, vibrant economy with lots of great jobs. And so what we've done in the past, since I've been on the board and well before, was we would go out as a government and we would hunt. We're going whale hunting. We're looking for a big corporate entity. And we're like, we're going to bring them to Tampa Bay, and they're going to build a big, tall, shiny building downtown Tampa. And we're going to be able to point to that and go, wow, look at Tampa. We're this. And what I'm sensing is that these companies that we want to bring here, a lot of them are first saying, well, before we come, our employees have to want to live there. They got to say, well, that's a great place to live. And we also have to be able to say to people who might want to come here, the companies or the employees, there's lots and lots of jobs here, so that if it doesn't work out for you, if you're the employee working at that company, you can find another job easily. And if you're a company and you come here, you can find lots of people to hire. You don't have to worry about it. And so my thought, Lindsay, is that this might be the way, by supporting startups, that we say to the companies that we're fishing for, look, you want to come here because you're hearing about Tampa Bay because there's so many people doing so many cool things. We want to set up shop there and then steal away all those workers to have them come work for us. Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense. And if I could add on to what you're saying here, which I love.
Lindsay Kimball, who are you?
I'm sorry. Who am I?
Who are you?
She is the Mika Brzezinski of this Morning Joe type coffee.
And her dad's the big dude.
Thank you.
We'll soon have an elbow somewhere.
All right,
Okay,
Lindsay,
so I am Lindsay Kimball. I'm the Managing Director of Economic Development for the county. I am happy to be here, and over the past few months, I've been a part of these conversations. It's been invigorating. It's been exciting. As an economic development professional, where we see the profession going is in the same direction of startups. It's smaller, it's grassroots, it's focused on companies that are innovative. And why is that? It's because what people want and what they expect out of their lifestyle, out of the careers they want to pursue, the next generation coming up, it's not about working yourself to death, and they will in the beginning, but it's not about a shiny corner office. It's not about doing things the way that your parents may have done them or your grandparents. I mean, this is a completely different mindset, and it's about that you can take something, you can solve problems, you can create things, you're innovative, you're going out there and you can start a business, you can have a great lifestyle, you can enjoy your friends and your family. I say all that to get back to the point that there's a growing movement within the actual industry statistics that we see, that the companies of the future are going to be in this realm. It's going to be these kind of conversations. It's going to be people, because why? Because we're mobile, because the workforce coming up in the next generation, Generation Y, expects that they're going to be able to be creative and innovative and accepted. There's just a whole different mindset, and to be ahead of the curve, to help Hillsborough County be ahead of the curve, we need to understand that trend, and we need to focus our economic development strategy so we support companies and operations and people like that. And I think that what you are going to present on the 20th, and we're there to support you, is a program that allows us for the first time to reach that segment of our business community. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, on the 20th, everyone's talking about the Bass Pro issue and about the county's investment, and even in that instance, it's in roads and infrastructure, which will allow a business or businesses to come here. But what we want people to understand is that our focus and our dollars are going towards the startup community, which is driving the world economy. I mean, it's cool to know. I mean, I was reading about years ago this small bank, I believe in India, where they were literally giving these micro loans of like, $15 and $20 to a significant number of women who were starting very small businesses, and everyone was kind of laughing. Oh, what a waste. What is that going to do? Well, from that came a tremendous number of amazing, successful companies. And so we're not necessarily going to be setting up micro loans, although we are talking about working with others who I believe are going to be putting together some accelerators, which can then focus dollars towards good ideas, or even better, and that's what they're doing with Y Combinator out in California. Even if your idea is not that good, but you're really a smart guy or gal, and they think you've got the potential to start a cool company, we're going to help you, redirect you so that you'll start a cool company, and it'll be there. We want your cool companies here. And so I just throw that out, and we'll let anybody who wants to jump in.
We want the smart people that are capable of starting and managing the cool companies to be here. So we don't know if you're going to be a marathon runner or a sprinter. We'll help you engage in training. We'll help you engage with other people in the community to build a team. We'll help you engage so you don't lose that passion for creating something new or for solving a problem. And that's the type of buzz that they have in cities where people are attracted. Whether young people, old people, it really doesn't matter. It's people that are out there that have a technical or a science background that want to go solve problems, as opposed to people that want to come and spend time on beaches.
Again, Tampa Bay always seemed to me that we were the guys that were bringing in the large companies where you'd go work for a salary to basically support someone else's idea, who basically was supporting a corporate headquarters in another part of the country.
That's a service
Very
economy.
typical.
We were the service economy, and I swore that when I ran back in 2004, I was going to work with others, who are far smarter than I, to figure out a way to make our community the builder of ideas and products, where others are serving us. What, Joel?
Wealth creation.
Wealth creation.
You're going to. At the end of the day, what you're really pursuing is a means by which you're going to actually empower many, many more local individuals to create more wealth locally, and it's going to be based here. And when they start a business, they may have satellite offices somewhere else, but now you're actually building businesses that are headquartered here, and the real wealth is being created here. Whereas a large corporation isn't really, if they're already at X hundred million, there isn't much more to be created there. So if you want to grow the local economy, the greatest and it shows at all levels of investment, the greatest wealth creation is always in the early stage startups. Now there's greater risk there, but it's also greater wealth creation, and keeping that local is so the combination
and wealth retention
retention.
Because you want those product revenues to come back here,
because we've been losing a lot of the most talented people to other places, and so they're unavailable to be hired by the big companies, and they're unavailable to create the startups.
They're your sons, they're your daughters. I say to all my friends out in East County who are like, why do I care about this? Because you've got great kids, or you've got great kids who have kids, and we want those kids staying here. We don't, and you want them staying here. You'd like to be able to spend time with your kids. I mean, I got so many friends, even with the Tea Party, you're like, well, why would I care about this? Because you know what? You care about your community, and you like the way you live. You like living in a rural, more lifestyle that we have in Eastern County. Well, if we can have a wealthier community, and as well, in the past, we've spent so much time finding cow pasture that we could turn into a subdivision because we were looking for a way to provide inexpensive homes for people who are working in the service economy. Now we might not have to do that. We can focus some of our redevelopment on communities in the West Shore area, the West Chase area, the New Tampa area, parts of Brandon, South Tampa that are already developed. You can redevelop those areas. There's more wealth. And some of our younger kids who like a more urban environment, they've got that, but they can stay here in Tampa, and they can work in Tampa or work in Hillsborough County and still see their family. I just throw that out.
No, actually, the Boston startup community is a great example of that.
So
Boston, right? Because if you look at Boston, right, you'll find that the young entrepreneurs, the younger people working in the companies, those organizations, all live like in Cambridge and in that downtown area or in South Bay, right? That's where they gravitate to. Yet the CEOs and the guys who've done it a few times, they all live out in Lexington, right? So they've got a big house out in Lexington. But it all works, right? The guy who's the CEO, he'll commute in to go do his thing because he wants 3 acres of land, right? And his big house, which he could never have in downtown Boston. Right, but it all works together to form this, and I think that's another misnomer, right? That people don't think about, because I hear everybody go, "Oh, it's all the 20-year-olds who are starting companies." It's not really true. The really great companies actually are a culmination of those. And my last company we sold to Akamai, we had people in that company and the founding group who were our CTO, who was 26, sold his first piece of code at 12, right? To people like myself, and we had the 4 of us. We also had a different group. We were all very diverse. We had a British guy. I'm Native American and Irish. We had a very white bread boy from Michigan, and we had a Cuban, right? So it's like you have this mishmash of that. Right? But that's what made it work. And we don't all agree, and we don't all do the other things, but that's part of it. And the people who do this do it over and over and over again. And we go back to people that we've worked with before and pull those people in from different geographies and bring them together to create new companies.
And one thing Tampa Bay's got, and I want to say this, and a shout out to the military veterans who serve our country. When I was in the Navy, and I would be sitting up there watching the aircraft carrier operations on board the Independence, and I would see these 18 and 19-year-old kids, and I say kids, but young men and women, out on the deck of an aircraft carrier doing some of the most amazing work. Their tremendous skills and abilities. Well, those people right now are serving overseas all over the world. And Joe Klein, who writes for Time Magazine, has written about how he believes this generation of young people serving in the military are going to come back and reshape the world. Well, the beautiful thing is Tampa Bay is flush with that talent. And they're looking for opportunities. And my prayer is that we can really create an environment where the entrepreneurs, whether they are the entrepreneurs creating the companies or recreating companies and then hiring them, we have an obligation and a duty, I believe, to help these people who are serving our nation find jobs that have got great skills, and Tampa Bay is just loaded with veteran talent.
That's right. I agree. Absolutely.
Okay, so on the 20th, you're going to get up and you're going to speak. You're going to razzle-dazzle us. and you can watch live as well. You can go online. You can get all the information you want. You can go and get background information on the item I'm going to be presenting. Economic Development, Ron Barton, Lindsay Kimball have been putting this together, working endless hours with this group and others, talking about how we're going to come up with a startup initiative which is going to refocus not just our own economic development department, but really what we're doing here in Tampa Bay to the startup community, because I really do believe that that's what's going to help drive our local economy. And then for those of us who really do care about, the quality of our roads and other things, we'll find we have more revenue without having to raise taxes to be able to support our quality of life, which we've come to expect in this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Tampa Bay community. Does anybody have anything that they want to add before we shut down for today? We're going to be doing this on Fridays. We're also going to be taking this on the road. We're going out to HCC, USF, UT, and some of the others to talk with them, talk with the students who are doing this. If you've got a cool idea on where we can go and take the show on the road, we'll be out there. The idea is to make it more interactive, to give people an opportunity to, while we're having this conversation, if you can't be here, Twitter us or ask a question, log on, and we'll be able to respond and to get you information so you know what's going on here in Tampa Bay. Cool.
Awesome.
All right. See you
Drink
next
some
week.
coffee.
All right.
And then later have some beer.